Anton Corbijn's Control is a music biopic following Ian Curtis, the post-punk pioneer and frontman of the influential band Joy Division. Through stark black and white cinematography, the film documents Ian Curtis's rise with Joy Division from their early origins as a band named Warsaw, performing their first gigs, to the fame gained at some of their largest live performances. However, Ian Curtis's story is an upsetting one, struggling with epilepsy, depression, an affair and guilt. These troubles with his mental health would plague and disrupt his ability to perform. The guilt became so intense that he believed his own daughter hated him. The film's depiction of mental health does not demonize the personal struggles of Ian, but simply observes with a sympathetic eye. Despite the best efforts to support Ian, it became too much as he took his own life at 23 years old. The film's depiction of mental health intends to be supportive, like a cautionary tale. If depression, anxiety, or other mental health struggles have anyone by their grasp, please reach out to them. Offer love and support them to seek professional help. With Control, Anton Corbijn's direction focuses with immaculate detail on the impact that Ian's mental health had on his personal and professional life. From early on in the film, Ian Curtis is established as an outsider, quiet in class and spending most of his time writing poetry and lyrics, preferring solitude over socializing, with an exception being a close friend who brings his girlfriend over and introduces her to Ian. This is Deborah, who would eventually become Deborah Curtis, Ian's wife and the writer of Touching from a Distance, the biography of Ian Curtis, which this film is based upon. The two connect romantically, going to watch live music by David Bowie and Sex Pistols, icons and influences on Ian's own music. Ian's outlook and lyricism in his music was often downbeat. The black and white imagery of this film can reflect that, as images throughout the film can emulate the dark impressions which Joy Division's music has on its listeners. Live performances later in the film are depicted as too troubling an experience for Ian. One concert finishes early as the band conclude a song due to Ian having a seizure on stage. Another concert relies on a stand-in vocalist to cover for Ian until he's ready to walk onto the stage, likely overwhelmed by depression and anxiety, making something as routine for a musician as walking on stage and performing live something so excruciatingly challenging. In those darkest moments when depression and anxiety has its grasp, the simpler tasks can feel monumental. It is important to seek a break from professional work if possible, when struggling with depression and anxiety so intense that previously simpler tasks become overpowering. Self-care should always be our priority. Unfortunately, Ian's pressures at home, a marriage where he is unsure if he still loves Deborah or not, a growing affair with another woman, the doubts of his ability as a father and whether he can provide for his family, all impact his personal life. Arguments arise with his wife when she discovers his affair, and Ian even attempts suicide unsuccessfully by overdose, being delivered to the nearest hospital to have his stomach pumped. Ian Curtis is only human, and like all of us, he was imperfect. He believed he no longer loved his wife and felt he had married too young, and when another woman showed a romantic interest in him, a woman who could follow him on tour, she would have likely offered a sense of comfort when he was not performing. Yet this affair caused immense guilt. During a scene where Ian is having sex with his wife, the sex dissolves into Ian having an emotional breakdown. His intense sobs indicated guilt, and although at that time of the film Deborah would not know the source, on top of Ian's depression and anxiety, he is likely experiencing guilt so intense that he is filled with remorse. Ian was human just like all of us, and with humanity comes remorse and regrets. In conclusion, the film's depiction of mental health is devastating, never shying away from Ian as he reaches his darkest depths, and as Ian's eventual suicide takes place, the impact on Deborah is heartbreaking. Ian's story is a tragic one, but Anton Corbijn's film reminds us that it is an important one too. Ian Curtis's death at 23 years old is a reminder, not only of the brilliant talent lost at a young age, and who managed to influence generations of musicians posthumously, but also a reminder of ourselves to seek help when our mental health becomes too challenging. If as a viewer any of the subjects discussed in this video or explored in Control affect you or a loved one, please seek help. Talk to a friend or a family member, speak to your local doctor, speak to a professional therapist. Support is there for you. Anton Corbijn's film is a cautionary tale regarding mental health, reminding us to never downplay how we feel and the experiences we struggle with.